Have you ever looked out the window when the storms start piling up and wondered if maybe the sky itself is trying to send us a message?
You know, family, what we are seeing sweep across our beautiful country isn't just another winter mess. It is a serious pattern that we need to sit down and talk about. A massive bomb cyclone is brewing right now, bringing heavy snow, slick ice, and wild weather to almost everyone's doorstep. And it is intensifying fast. Stick around because at the 3-minute and 45-second mark, I will break down exactly when this hits your porch and what the next 3 days look like for you. By minute 6, you will see why this isn't just about snow shovels. It is about looking out for our neighbors and keeping our local communities safe and warm. And if you wait for minute 15, I have got a full breakdown for over 50 regions, plus some of that old-time spiritual comfort our grandparents relied on during hard times. I truly believe this guide can keep your loved ones safe and help you see how the good book describes the weather as a divine conversation. Listen to this number, 50 degrees, because that is how fast the temperature is going to plummet in some spots when this Arctic freeze rolls through. Now, I know 50 degrees sounds like just a statistic, but let's talk about what that actually feels like for families like ours trying to keep warm. When it gets that cold that fast, furnaces quit, pipes burst, and if we aren't ready, things can get dangerous in a heartbeat for the people we care about. This bomb cyclone, a storm that explodes in power by 24 millibars in just 24 hours, is unlike anything we have faced all season long. We are talking about 1 to 3 feet of snow burying the Midwest and Great Lakes, with some spots getting even deeper accumulation. But the snow is only half the battle. There is a nasty ice storm aiming for the northeast that could glaze everything in up to half an inch of solid ice. Keep watching because this ties into a bigger picture. Just like the Bible says, the Creator often whispers or shouts through the wind and the rain. Think about Job chapter 37, verse 6, where he commands the snow to fall and the rain to pour. There is a divine purpose behind the power we see. As we sit here this Sunday morning, December 28th, blizzard warnings are already lighting up the map across the upper Midwest. From the cornfields of Nebraska all the way to Minnesota, our friends are already feeling the first bite of this historic winter system. It is not just snow, though. We are seeing rough weather pop up in places that usually don't have to worry about this kind of trouble during the winter months. We could see damaging winds and even a few tornadoes tearing through the Midwest and Ohio Valley today, which is just unheard of for this time of year. The National Weather Service has painted more red and orange across the map for this one storm than we have seen all winter long. And trailing right behind it is a freeze so deep it is going to touch every single state from Montana down to the beaches of Florida in the next 48 hours. Let me sketch out what is coming so you can see the whole picture, and we will look at how Scripture tells us to brace for the difficult seasons. Scientists call this explosive cyclogenesis, but really, it is just nature showing off the incredible raw power hidden in our atmosphere. Seeing that kind of strength makes me think of Psalm 148, verse 8. Stormy winds fulfilling His word, reminding us who is in charge. When the pressure drops that fast, it opens the door for all kinds of chaos to break loose across the country at the exact same time. If you are like me and get headaches when the weather turns, you are going to feel this one in your bones if you live in the Midwest or Great Lakes. But what really worries me is the roads. So many people are trying to get home after the holidays, right as this monster moves in on our busiest routes. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty timeline so you know exactly when to bunker down region by region. Today, Sunday the 28th, the snow is piling up in Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and it is going to get blindingly white out there by this afternoon. Folks in the Twin Cities are going to see it come down hard later today, with 8 to 12 inches on the ground by the time you wake up Monday morning. Up in northern Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan, you all are in the bullseye. We are talking 2 to 3 feet of snow near Marquette. Down in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, keep your eyes on the sky. There is a risk of high winds and tornadoes until about 9 o'clock tonight. Monday, December 29th. This thing hits its peak as it churns over the Great Lakes, and it is going to make life difficult across several states. The snow won't quit in Wisconsin and Michigan, and if you are in northern Illinois, stay off the highways. They are going to be parking lots. At the same time, freezing rain is going to slick up western New York and New England, turning everything into a dangerous skating rink. For my family in New York City, it is going to be a messy mix. Rain turning to ice, then snow, so watch out for slippery sidewalks and down power lines. Then the lake effect machine kicks in, dumping heavy snow on everyone downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario right through Tuesday. Tuesday, December 30th. Here comes the cold. That Arctic air is going to plunge all the way down to the deep south. Wind chills up north are going to be brutal, below zero. And in Montana, the air itself could freeze you at 30 below. It is moving so fast that Springfield, Missouri is going to feel a 60-degree crash in just a few hours. That is a real shock to the system. By Tuesday morning, even Dallas and Fort Worth will feel wind chills in the 30s, which is mighty cold for our Texas friends. And Florida, you aren't escaping this one. Expect morning temps near freezing, with Tallahassee feeling like it is 30 degrees outside. I want to go through over 50 specific spots now because I want to make sure no one is left wondering what is coming their way. Up north, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the neighbors nearby, you are looking at 10 to 11 inches of heavy blowing snow through Monday. Duluth and the border towns, you are getting the worst of it. 8 to 12 inches for most, but up to 15 inches where the blizzard hits hardest. Have you ever seen a winter storm hug the coastline quite like this? Folks in Milwaukee, get your shovels ready for 6 to 10 inches. And if you are near Green Bay, that lake effect machine is going to keep running until Tuesday. Over in Eau Claire and the western towns, please stay safe because you are looking at 9 to 10 inches of powder, and honestly, the blizzard conditions are going to make the roads an absolute nightmare. My friends in Detroit and southeast Michigan, it is going to get messy with a slushy mix of freezing rain and snow piling up anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. If you are out in Grand Rapids or on the west side, you are getting the brunt of it with 8 to 12 inches. Plus, the lake is going to dump even more on top of that. But the real story is up in the UP. Marquette and Iron Mountain, you guys are in the bullseye for a staggering 2 to 3 feet of snow that could basically shut everything down. For my Ohio family near Cleveland, look out for that lake effect kicking in on Monday and Tuesday, bringing localized dumps of 8 to 12 inches. Buffalo, you know the drill, but this is a 1-2 punch with storm snow first, followed by a lake effect blast that could bury you under another foot. Syracuse, expect 6 to 10 inches from the main system, but keep the snowblower handy because the lake effect will keep things going through Tuesday evening. Up in Albany in the Capital District, things are turning dangerous as snow swaps over to ice. We are talking 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of glaze that makes everything slick. I am really worried about everyone in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine because this ice storm looks severe enough to knock out power for days. So please stock up. Boston and the southeast coast, you are likely catching freezing rain and sleet, so travel is going to be treacherous right through Monday evening. For the big city folks in New York and Newark, it is a sloppy transition from rain to ice and finally snow over a long 12 to 18-hour stretch. Philly and South Jersey, watch your step, because freezing rain could coat everything in 1/4 inch of ice, and that is more than enough to cause trouble. Down in D.C. and Baltimore, you might see the rain turn into a quick burst of snow, but thankfully it does not look like much will stick. If you are on the coast in Virginia Beach or Norfolk, expect a soaking rain before the winds pick up and the temperature takes a nosedive. Richmond, you might catch a few snowflakes as the rain ends, but the real shock is going to be that deep freeze settling in right behind the storm. Charlotte, get ready for heavy rain to wash through, but once the sky is clear, it is going to get bitterly cold very fast. Atlanta, you might see that rain switch to snow Monday night, but the big headline is how incredibly cold it is going to feel come Tuesday morning. Even down in Jacksonville, you need to bundle up because waking up to temps in the 30s is rare for northern Florida. Tampa and Orlando, please cover your plants and wrap those pipes, because seeing the thermometer dip into the 30s and 40s is no joke. Miami, you will stay above freezing, thankfully, but it is going to feel chilly and blustery with those winds whipping through. Columbus, please keep an eye on the sky for rough weather today before things freeze over and you maybe see some flakes on Monday. Cincinnati, you have got storms with damaging winds to worry about first, then the temperature crashes and brings a chance of snow. Louisville, it is a wild ride from severe storms to rain and then finally snow Monday night as the mercury plunges. Nashville, stay alert for thunderstorms today because right after that, the bottom drops out of the temperature and you might see snow. Memphis is in the same boat with storms today, then a switch to snow Monday night. It won't be much, but it will be cold. Knoxville, you are starting with thunder, but give it a day and the higher elevations will be turning white with snow. Can you imagine wearing shorts 1 minute and a parka the next? Kansas City is plunging from 68 degrees down to a wind chill of 10. Omaha, you are already in the thick of it with heavy snow that is going to stack up 8 to 12 inches by the time it stops. Des Moines, once that snow finishes, the cold is going to be brutal, with wind chills dipping below zero, so stay inside if you can. Fargo, you know cold, but this Arctic blast is something else. Wind chills could hit 40 below zero by Monday morning. Bismarck, the actual air temperature might hit 25 below, which is dangerous no matter how tough you are. Sioux Falls, after the snow clears, that wind is going to bite hard, so cover every inch of exposed skin. Denver, you won't see much snow, but the wind is going to howl and bring in some serious chill. Salt Lake City, it is mostly dry for you, but grab a coat because the temperature is dropping while the mountains get fresh powder. Cheyenne, even without much new snow, the wind is blowing around what is already there, making driving really risky. Dallas, get ready for a shock as that cold front sweeps in and drops wind chills into the 30s by Tuesday. Oklahoma City, you are going from mild to freezing in just a few hours Monday evening, so do not get caught off guard. Little Rock, watch out for storms today, then brace for a rapid freeze and maybe even a little snow Monday night. New Orleans, you will stay above freezing, but it is going to feel a whole lot colder than it does right now. Houston, grab a jacket because while you won't freeze, the wind is going to make it feel pretty raw. Mobile, you are sliding from a balmy 70 degrees down to the 40s in just one day. Now, can I be real with you for a second about what scares me most? It is the families sitting in the dark because of the ice. You see, ice storms are actually worse for our power grid than blizzards or heavy snow ever could be. It is not just a thin layer. That ice gets so heavy on the limes and branches that the system physically collapses under the weight. Can you imagine waking up to a world frozen solid, where half an inch of ice has turned the lights out for nearly everyone across New York and New England? Are you truly ready for that reality? And could your home keep your loved ones warm and safe if the grid goes down for 3 to 5 long days in that bitter cold? I know these are heavy things to think about, but remember what Proverbs 22:3 tells us. The wise see trouble coming and take cover. Now, the power crews are going to be working their hearts out day and night, but fixing widespread ice damage just isn't something that happens overnight. There are only so many hands available to help across all these states, and they honestly can't even start the repairs until it is safe enough to be out there. If you live out in the country or surrounded by trees, you need to be realistic. You might be in the dark for close to a week. Let me walk you through a few essential steps that could mean the difference between riding this out comfortably or facing a real crisis. First off, water. Go fill up every pitcher, tub, and bottle you have tonight before the pipes freeze or the pumps stop working. Even city water needs power to get to your tap, so do not assume it will keep flowing if the grid goes down for a long stretch. Second, how will you stay warm? You need a backup plan that does not need a plug, especially if your furnace relies on electricity to kick on. Third, pantry staples. Stock up on food for at least 1 week that you do not need to cook or keep cold, because the fridge and stove might be useless. Fourth, Staying in touch. Cell towers might fail too, so grab a hand crank radio or one with fresh batteries so you are never cut off from news. Fifth, your health. Make sure you have got all your prescriptions filled and plenty of supplies for anyone who needs special care right now. This is where we really get to show what we are made of. Looking out for each other just like the good book tells us to do in hard times. When the lights go out and the roads are blocked, the folks right next door are your lifeline. Think about that elderly couple who might need help staying warm. Maybe the family across the street needs a hand. And if you have a generator or a wood stove, you become a blessing to the whole block. Remember Acts chapter 2, verses 44 to 47? The early believers shared everything they had so that nobody had to face the struggle alone. We have a chance to live that out right now, checking on the vulnerable and sharing what we have with open hands. 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us that we have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind to make good choices. I am not telling you this to scare you, but to give you the tools you need to keep your family safe and sound. Panic makes us freeze up, but wisdom helps us get ready with a clear head and a steady heart based on facts. You can take control of this situation by getting ready now, showing your family you love them, by making sure they are protected and comfortable. Even the weather has a purpose. Genesis 8:22 says that as long as the earth spins, we will have seasons, winter included. Winter gives the land a rest and packs up snow for a water supply later on. It is all part of how nature tests and sustains us. This big storm might look scary, but it is just part of the natural rhythm that reminds us we rely on something bigger than ourselves. Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us there is a season for everything, and maybe this is our time to grow closer and wiser together. Once this system blows over in a few days, we will keep an eye on the sky for whatever else winter has in store for us. By late Tuesday, a little clipper system will dust the Great Lakes and Northeast with snow, but it should not be too bad. Wednesday and Thursday should stay dry up north, but bundle up because it is going to stay freezing to kick off the new year. Looking at next weekend, the West Coast is going to get hit with some heavy snow in the mountains and rain in California. It looks like the first week of January might bring more storms, though it is a bit too early to say for sure right now. For right now, let us just focus on getting through this historic storm, which is shaping up to be the biggest one of the season. Driving is going to be a nightmare, maybe impossible, on Monday and Tuesday, so stay off the highways if you can. Airlines are already grounding planes in the Midwest and Northeast, so you might want to rethink any trips that are not absolutely necessary. A storm like this really shows us the raw power of the sky and calls us to be both smart and spiritually awake. Just like Job saw the majesty of creation in the whirlwind, we can find meaning even in the wildest weather. The neighborhoods that get ready and stick together will not just survive this, they will come out the other side tighter and stronger. Bad weather brings out the best and worst in us, so let us choose to be the ones who care and help out. Maybe that means letting a neighbor plug in their medical gear, offering a warm room, or just knocking on a door to check in. Those little acts of kindness build a bond that lasts way longer than the snow does, just like the scriptures describe. So go ahead, get your own house in order, but keep your eyes open for chances to serve folks who might be struggling. Think of this storm as a physical test, but also a spiritual chance to love your neighbor the way we are called to. Keep watching the official forecasts, make smart choices for where you live, and remember that this too shall pass. Spring is coming back, the air will warm up, and this will all be a memory. But how we treat each other now matters forever. Until then, winter is knocking at the door. Respect its power. Get ready and trust that we are all in good hands. Have you ever paused to wonder just how awe-inspiring the sheer power of nature can truly be? I am sending my warmest prayers for your safety as you get everything ready and hoping the road treats you kindly during this event. Please bundle up tight, check in on the folks next door, and trust your instincts, remembering that we are infinitely stronger when we lean on each other. Keep a close eye on the local news and do whatever is necessary to stay safe, holding on to the comfort that this storm, just like every trouble in life, will eventually blow over. Most of all,
Let this be a gentle nudge to rely on a little grace from above and to cherish our community, because looking out for one another is what truly matters.
I'm going to be right here keeping a vigil for you, and I promise to bring you every update as we watch this history-making weather unfold over the next few days.